Boom shakalaka, Bitcoin whales are dumping like crazy as Bitcoin just passed historically one of its worst days of the year. Did the bubble just pop? Or is something else about to happen for Bitcoin and for altcoins? Stay tuned. What's up everyone, Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's video, did the bubble just pop? Whales are dumping Bitcoin like crazy as we passed the worst day of the year historically, one of the worst for Bitcoin. But is something else on the horizon for Bitcoin and altcoins? Before we get into things, like the video, join us on Twitter at @CryptoLove, subscribe to the OG Bitcoin and Crypto channel. And today's video is sponsored by mevolaxy, so stay tuned to find out a little bit more. Now, today, fear and greed index at 48, pretty close to dead neutral. You can see over the past couple days, the past week, we have been in neutral after being in greed last month. And the overall market today, up 1%, Bitcoin at 112,866, Ethereum at 43.58, XRP at $3 even, Tether at $1 even, good for Tether, but you can see the rest of them right there. And if we take a look at the chart right now, Bitcoin sitting in the middle, pretty much dead in the center of this ascending wedge. You can see the top right here of the past two tops, the bottom right here of the past two bottoms, and we are dead neutral, combating not only the 100-day moving average, but also the 21 EMA. Can we break above? Will we be rejected and go below? Nobody seems to know at the moment, but the markets are crazy fearful. Not if we take a look at the sentiment like we saw in the beginning, but Bitcoin treasury company buyers are dropping hard. You can see this right here in the blue. Did the bubble just pop? Now, me personally, as a matter of fact, yesterday, I was thinking, did we hit the bubble? Because it was the first time so far this season, but I was talking with someone and I asked them what they do, and they said, hey, I am a trader. At first they said a remote worker. So I asked, like, what type of stuff do you do? Are you a programmer or something like that? And they're like, no, I'm a trader. And I was like, oof, in a bull market, that is easy. In a bear market, probably going to get wrecked. And yeah, last cycle, when I met a whole bunch of people who were telling me they were traders, that was pretty much the top. So that was the first flag to keep my eyes out for. But starting to see stuff like this, did the bubble just pop? Pretty freaking scary. If we take a look, Bitcoin whales are dumping hard. Large holders have offloaded 115,000 Bitcoin in the past 30 days, the biggest since 2022. Yowzer. Now, it may be where this is just a trick to convince everyone we're going below $100,000. Now, if we take a look at the chart right here, $100,000, not only do we have the 200-day moving average right there, but we also have this large spike in the volume profile, and we also have this bottom trend line. So that could be a support area for Bitcoin to hit if the price does go down. And if we take a look, there is a lot of liquidity to liquidate on the way down there. So why not tap down and liquidate all of the longs and then go back up? Because that's basically like free money for anybody who knows how to trade. Now, as we said earlier, a lot of people are selling Bitcoin. Bitcoin miners right now are puking Bitcoin at a rate not seen since $19,000. Holy freaking cow, that was a long time ago when Bitcoin was at $19,000. And this typically happens for one of two reasons. One would be a margin squeeze and they need cash. Not so today. The other is they are in profit and bearish. They think the market's going to take a tumble and they're selling now while they can do that. Now, that sounds terrible, but in all cases, price was higher a month later. If we take a look, a month after all of these lines, price was higher. So you could sell with all these people, panic sell, and maybe you might be right, but based on history, you would be wrong 100% of the time. So do what you do, because we did just cross the line in the sand. September 8th, which was yesterday. Important for Bitcoin because September 8th is consistently one of the worst days of the year for Bitcoin performance. On any given day, Bitcoin is up 53% of the time for a typical gain of 0.1%. Now, September 8th is down 72% of the time for a typical loss of 1.3%. This makes it the 7th worst day of the year. But interestingly, September 8th is highly predictive for the entire month's performance. When the 8th is positive, September has a positive month 75% of the time, but when it's negative, September is down 90% of the time. So we can see that this is pretty interesting for Bitcoin. Worst day of the year. Do you want to sell on the worst day of the year, or would that be a better time to buy? Doesn't appear, to me at least, like we have topped out this cycle. If we did, it would be the first time in history that none of the top flags have actually indicated. If we take a look here at the power law trend, in previous bull markets when we entered the red hot zone, we stayed there for 2 years, going up to a local peak in about 1 year, and retracing to the bottom in another. You can see that here and here. Now, the cycle is different. We entered the red zone as usual, and we left it after a few months and went back to it, but without going far away to the typical tops. We never hit any of these red top areas. This chart is adjusted to compensate for the observed decay of the tops, but even with this compensation, we never went too far into the hot region. It is without doubts a different cycle from others. So either, at least this is the way that I see it, either all of these miners and all of these whales are dead wrong, or something crazy that we've never seen before this cycle is happening, because the Pi cycle top doesn't say it's the top, the CVBI.info doesn't say it's the top, the MVRV score doesn't say it's the top. Nothing says it's the top right now, except for that one dude that I met who's now a trader because he's a remote worker. And, so that being said, this chart is exceptionally interesting, and we're going to get into it in a second. But before we do, today's episode is sponsored by mevolaxy. Have you ever wished staking could be simple, like stake once and then just watch the rewards roll in every single day? That's exactly what mevolaxy delivers. Mevolaxy is pioneering something brand new in crypto, mevstake. Instead of the old set it and forget it model, you're actually tapping into the profits from on-chain activity through their mevbot network. Translation, you're not just staking, you're investing in the engine that powers liquidity across DeFi. And here's the best part. With mevolaxy, you don't have to worry about chasing hype coins, staring at charts, or timing the market like a psychic. You just stake once and the system keeps working for you, generating steady rewards in a volatile space. It's passive income made smarter. Now, let's talk about the Pro plan. This is where the real magic begins. With Pro, you unlock premium access to the mevolaxy staking ecosystem, higher earning potential, priority access, and tools built for serious crypto users who want more for their staking. Think of it as staking, but supercharged. And right now, mevolaxy is offering a limited time 50% discount on the Pro plan. That's right, half off. But you've got to act fast because this deal won't last forever, and once it's gone, well, you'll be wishing you clicked sooner. So if you're ready to experience the future of staking, stake once, earn every day, head over to mevolaxy.com and grab your Pro plan today while the discount is still live. Mevolaxy, smarter staking, everyday rewards. Now, back to this chart. If we take a look here, the Bitcoin Bollinger Bands are at the most extreme level in history. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Bollinger Bands are, they basically talk about volatility that's going on in the market. So when price is moving fast, we have very wide bands, like you can see in these areas. And when price is not moving very fast, when it's not changing very fast, we have very narrow bands. Oftentimes, narrow bands precede very wide bands. Like we see right here, they're narrow. Like we see right here, they're narrow. And you can see this is the Bollinger Band width. So this is the distance between those lines. Every time that we had very narrow bands, we saw very wide bands coming afterwards. Now, these are the most narrow bands in history, meaning that price has not been volatile in a very long time, oftentimes preceding big moves. So is this move from the miners and from the large capital that we were looking at earlier, is this a move like Germany selling Bitcoin back at like $50,000 before it took off? I mean, they would have at least doubled their money at this point. Could it be the biggest mistake for all those people? Are they actually just following the video that we made the other day about the 500 days before, 500 days after? You buy Bitcoin 500 days before the halving, you sell 500 days after. Maybe that's what all the miners are doing because they've done it every cycle so far and it worked out pretty well for them. And if we take a look, Bitcoin right now following the same pattern throughout this bull market, might just be getting to the support line before another break up. We see impulsive moves happen in the fourth quarter. This is historically where most pumps happen, preceded by a longer consolidation period in the form of a falling wedge or bullish megaphone. Regarding the narrative, in each of these phases, Crash Profits claimed it was the top. Ooh, remember the famous biggest bull trap I've ever seen in early 2023. So, could it just be rinse and repeat, price about to go up? Certainly could. When you reflect on it, when you fixate on the noise of each passing day, you risk losing sight of the greater beauty that unfolds over time. You can see price is continuing upwards, has not come anywhere close to a top predicted by the MVRV Z-score. And if we take a look at one of the most predictive things of Bitcoin tops, aside from the Pi cycle top, CBBI, MVRV Z-score, all those things, it turns out that the global business cycle, which is right down here on the bottom, we can see the signal 1, which is a histogram, signal 2, which is a line right here. This does an excellent job of predicting tops for Bitcoin. Now, right now, we are not anywhere near there. We're not in the red part of the histogram. We are still in the green part of the histogram. So bear markets, while reds decline, you can see here, bull markets ramp up when green. So it goes parabolic when bars go red, which we have not yet even seen. Impulse tops at blue peaks. We can see here, have not had that yet. USDT tops at red peaks, and we're still in the green, signaling that things have not even begun yet for Bitcoin. So I personally have no idea what's going on with this massive selling, other than maybe what we saw right, where is it? Here? To gather up all of this liquidity right here, all of the longs. Why not? It's free money. Dump Bitcoin, buy it back cheaper, and they're just going to rinse and repeat that forever. You can see here, forever, as price just continually goes up. It's just longs and shorts getting liquidated, which brings us to altcoins. Could we be in for a big move? Now, historically, based on a time-based fashion, we would expect this Q4 to Q1 of next year to be pretty exceptional for altcoins. And what if we take a look at this non-log 1 week chart? You can see this nice little trend line right here. What if altcoins go all the way up there from where we are right now at $808 billion, all the way up to $2.6 trillion? That would be like a 3x of the altcoin market cap. Could we see that? Yeah, certainly possible. So that's all for this episode. If you enjoyed it, click the like button, subscribe, check out some of our shorts. Thanks to our sponsor. And I will catch you guys later. Have a good one. Love you. Peace.
Boom. Shakalaka.
If you don't think Bitcoin's going to $1 million a coin and then $10 million a coin, you're already a loser.
From now on, if you don't own Bitcoin, you're a moron.